In Monaco, beauty doesn't wait to be noticed. It arrives. As the sun fades and the city slips into evening, something changes in the air. The streets grow quieter, the lights soften, and suddenly, every arrival feels intentional. This isn't about speed, it's not about noise, and it's definitely not about showing off. In Monaco, the most powerful moments happen quietly. Tonight, supercars glide through narrow streets like moving sculptures, and elegant women step out as if they belong exactly where they are, because they do. Here, wealth and beauty don't collide by accident. They move together, effortlessly, as part of the same world. No cameras chasing, no crowd screaming, just presence, confidence, and an atmosphere money alone can't buy. What makes these moments so captivating isn't the price tag of the car or the outfit being worn. It's the timing, the posture, the calm certainty that this city understands who belongs and who is only passing through. Before we go any further, take a second to like this video and subscribe to Inside the Billionaires. It helps the channel grow and brings you deeper into worlds most people never get to see. And stay with me, because in just a moment, you'll start to notice something subtle. A pattern behind these arrivals that changes how you see Monaco forever. There is a precise moment when Monaco stops feeling like a destination and starts feeling like a private world. It happens just after sunset, when the last traces of daylight disappear and the city exhales. The streets grow calmer, conversations soften, and the atmosphere shifts from spectacle to selectiveness. This is when Monaco truly belongs to those who understand it. During the day, Monaco is beautiful, energetic, and welcoming. But at night, it becomes intentional. Every movement feels deliberate. Cars no longer rush, they glide, footsteps slow down. Even the lights seem carefully placed, guiding attention without demanding it. The evening doesn't amplify noise, it refines it. And in this refined silence, the city's real rhythm reveals itself. This is why the most memorable supercar arrivals don't happen under the harsh brightness of midday. They happen now, not to impress tourists, but to signal belonging. In the evening, Monaco stops being watched and starts watching. It notices posture, timing, and restraint. Here, arriving too loudly feels out of place, while arriving calmly feels powerful. Women step into this atmosphere as naturally as the city itself. Not as performers, but as part of the landscape. There's no rush, no need for attention. The confidence comes from knowing that the environment already understands them. In Monaco's evening hours, elegance isn't styled, it's assumed. What makes this transformation so fascinating is how subtle it is. Nothing dramatic changes on the surface. The buildings remain the same. The streets are still narrow. But the meaning of the city shifts. Monaco becomes less about being seen and more about being recognized. And once you begin to feel that difference, the way the city quietly selects who fits into its evening rhythm, you'll realize that every arrival from this point forward carries a deeper message, one that only reveals itself if you keep watching. The first thing people misunderstand about beauty in Monaco is that it needs attention. It doesn't. In the evening, beauty here lowers its voice. It doesn't announce itself, pose for approval, or compete for space. Instead, it blends seamlessly into the rhythm of the city, confident that it will be noticed by the right eyes. These women don't arrive dressed to impress a crowd. They arrive dressed to belong. Every detail feels intentional, but never forced, a balance that's difficult to explain unless you've seen it yourself. There's no rush, no scanning of surroundings, no need to confirm reactions. The calm comes from understanding that, in Monaco, elegance is assumed, not questioned. What makes this kind of beauty so powerful is restraint. Nothing feels excessive. Movements are unhurried, expressions composed, presence unmistakable. In a city surrounded by extreme wealth, standing out is easy. Standing above it quietly is something else entirely. That's the difference Monaco's evening reveals. As supercars slow to a stop, the focus doesn't jump immediately to the vehicle. For a brief moment, attention shifts to posture, timing, and composure. The city seems to read these signals instinctively. Monaco doesn't reward volume, it rewards certainty. And the women who move comfortably through its night hours understand this language fluently. There's also something else happening beneath the surface. Beauty here isn't performing for wealth, it exists alongside it. These arrivals don't feel staged because they aren't. They feel natural, almost routine, as if this world has always operated this way. No explanations needed, no validation required. The longer you watch, the clearer it becomes that Monaco's definition of beauty has little to do with trends or visibility. It's about alignment with the place, the moment, and the unspoken expectations of the city itself. And just when you start to think you understand how beauty moves through Monaco's evening streets, the next arrival adds another layer, one that shifts attention away from appearance entirely and towards something even more revealing. At first glance, a supercar arriving in Monaco might look effortless. Slow roll, clean stop, door opens, moment passes. But nothing about these arrivals is accidental. In the evening, every detail is measured. The timing, the location, even the way the engine's sound fades instead of demanding attention. Monaco doesn't reward excess, it rewards control. Unlike other luxury cities where arrivals are loud statements, Monaco prefers precision. Cars don't rush through the streets, they glide as if they already know where they belong. A supercar here isn't trying to dominate the scene, it's trying to fit it perfectly. The choice of street matters. A narrow corner says something different than an open boulevard. Stopping just a few feet forward or back changes who notices and who doesn't. This is where the unspoken language begins. Locals and insiders read arrivals the way others read headlines. A subtle pause before stopping. A calm engine shutoff. No sudden movements. These signals communicate confidence far louder than acceleration ever could. In Monaco's evening atmosphere, arriving quietly often leaves the strongest impression. What's even more fascinating is how attention shifts. For a brief second, the car holds focus, its lines reflecting the city lights, its presence undeniable. Then, almost immediately, the attention moves on. Not because the car isn't impressive, but because in Monaco, impressive is expected. What matters more is how naturally the arrival blends into the environment. Women stepping out of these cars don't rush the moment. They let it pass through them. No checking mirrors, no hesitation. The arrival is treated as routine, not performance. That's what separates Monaco from everywhere else. When luxury becomes routine, behavior becomes the true marker of status. The city watches all of this quietly. It doesn't react, but it registers. And once you understand that supercar arrivals here are conversations rather than spectacles, you start noticing patterns. Patterns that reveal who understands Monaco's rhythm and who is still trying to learn it. And just ahead, as these arrivals continue to unfold, something subtle happens that pulls attention away from the car entirely, toward a single moment that defines whether an arrival truly belongs. There's a split second in Monaco when an arrival is judged, and it has nothing to do with the car. It's the moment the door opens, before a word is spoken, before a step is taken. That pause, barely noticeable, carries more weight than speed, design, or price ever could. In Monaco's evening atmosphere, how someone steps out matters more than how they arrive. There's no rush to exit, no urgency to be seen. The movement is calm, almost rehearsed, but never artificial. One foot down. A brief stillness, then forward. The city reads that rhythm instantly. Confidence here isn't loud, it's balanced. Posture becomes a language of its own. Shoulders relaxed, gaze steady, movements unforced. Nothing scans the crowd, nothing seeks approval. It's the quiet assurance of someone who already belongs to the moment. In a place where wealth surrounds everything, behavior becomes the true separator. Anyone can own something rare. Not everyone can carry it naturally. What's striking is how little effort this seems to require. There's no dramatic entrance, no attempt to slow time. Yet attention shifts anyway, subtly, almost unconsciously. People don't turn their heads because they're impressed. They turn because something feels aligned. The arrival fits the environment so precisely that it becomes impossible to ignore. Women who understand Monaco's rhythm let this moment breathe. They don't rush past it, and they don't linger either. They allow the city to acknowledge them on its own terms. That restraint is what elevates the arrival from impressive to memorable. In Monaco, trying too hard is the only real mistake. Even the car fades into the background now. The reflection of lights on metal becomes secondary. What remains is presence, the kind that doesn't announce itself, but quietly reshapes the space around it. This is the point where observers realize they're not watching a display of luxury. They're witnessing fluency in a very exclusive language. And once you recognize how much power is held in that single step away from the car, you begin to notice something else. A pattern in who moves effortlessly through Monaco's evenings, and who never quite seems to blend in no matter what they arrive in. By nightfall, Monaco begins to narrow its audience. The city doesn't close its doors, but it quietly shifts its focus. Certain streets soften, certain entrances glow just enough, and certain moments feel reserved, not by rule, but by understanding. This is why the evening belongs to those who already know where they're going. Unlike daytime, when Monaco welcomes everyone equally, the evening operates on subtle signals. Timing replaces visibility. Familiarity replaces curiosity. Those who belong don't ask where to stop or when to arrive, they already know. Their movements are unhurried because nothing needs to be proven. The city recognizes them long before anyone else does. This is also why the most striking arrivals happen away from obvious attention, not at crowded corners, not under bright lights. Instead, they unfold near quiet entrances, along refined stretches of road, or just beyond the main flow of traffic. These aren't hidden places. They're simply overlooked by those who don't understand the rhythm of the evening. For women who move confidently through Monaco at night, discretion isn't about secrecy. It's about alignment. Being seen by everyone isn't the goal. Being recognized by the right people is. That's why the evening feels selective rather than exclusive. It doesn't block access, it filters energy. Supercars slow even more now. Doors open without ceremony. Arrivals blend into the atmosphere rather than interrupt it. The city responds with calm acknowledgement, not reaction. In Monaco's evening hours, attention is given sparingly, and that scarcity makes it powerful. What's fascinating is how natural this feels to those who belong. There's no tension, no anticipation, no need to look around. The environment supports them. The evening protects them. Monaco becomes less of a stage and more of a private setting where everything happens exactly as expected. As this pattern repeats, calm arrivals, confident movements, effortless transitions, a realization begins to form. The evening isn't just a time of day here, it's a signal. And once you understand who the night seems to favor, the next layer of Monaco's world starts to reveal itself, one that goes far beyond appearances and straight into unspoken influence. There's a reason certain supercars in Monaco seem to disappear as smoothly as they arrive. It's not luck, it's routing. In the evening, the city reveals a network of paths that don't announce themselves, yet quietly guide those who understand where influence truly flows. These aren't secret roads, they're simply selective ones. Slightly narrower turns, calmer stretches near the water, entrances that feel intentionally understated. To an outsider, they look ordinary. To an insider, they're efficient. The evening rewards familiarity, and familiarity shows in how confidently a car moves through these spaces without hesitation or correction. What's striking is how different the energy feels along these routes. The pace slows, but purpose sharpens. Engines soften, lights reflect rather than glare, and the city seems to listen instead of watch. This is where arrivals feel most natural, not because they're hidden, but because they're expected. Monaco's evening doesn't need signs to tell you where you belong, it responds to how you move. Women who arrive along these routes rarely draw attention to the journey itself. There's no pause to look around, no sense of checking the environment. The confidence is quiet because the environment is already familiar. When the car stops, it feels like a continuation rather than an interruption, as if the street anticipated the arrival before it happened. This is also where subtle acknowledgements appear. A brief glance, a slight nod, a door opened at just the right moment. No words exchanged, yet understanding passes instantly. In Monaco's evening rhythm, recognition often happens without conversation. It's efficient, respectful, and unmistakably exclusive. Supercars play a supporting role here, not a starring one. Their presence signals readiness rather than dominance. The real message is delivered through timing and restraint. Choosing the right route at the right hour says more than choosing the rarest model ever could. As you begin to notice these patterns, the calm routes, the effortless stops, the silent acknowledgements, a deeper truth becomes clear. Monaco's evening isn't organized around wealth alone, it's organized around coordination. And just ahead, you'll see how that coordination transforms quiet movement into real influence, the kind that never needs to raise its voice. In Monaco, real power rarely announces itself. It settles into the evening with ease, blending into the city's rhythm until it feels inevitable. This is where influence becomes visible, not through noise or display, but through calm control. The people who move comfortably through Monaco at night understand this instinctively. Quiet power shows up in small decisions, arriving exactly when the street feels balanced, choosing stillness over spectacle, letting moments pass without trying to own them. In a city saturated with wealth, restraint becomes the rarest signal of all. Anyone can command attention. Very few can command respect without asking for it. As the evening deepens, you start to see how this power operates. Conversations are brief, movements are efficient. There's no rush to impress, no urgency to dominate a space. Instead, influence flows through familiarity, being known, trusted, and expected. The city responds not with reaction, but with cooperation. Women who embody this quiet authority don't need to perform elegance. They carry it effortlessly, letting posture, timing, and composure speak on their behalf. Their presence doesn't interrupt the environment, it stabilizes it. That's the kind of power Monaco recognizes immediately. Not flashy, not forced, simply undeniable. Supercars, at this point, fade even further into the background. They become tools rather than statements. The real impact comes from how naturally everything aligns. The stop, the step, the surrounding stillness. When nothing feels out of place, power has already done its work. What makes this especially compelling is how invisible it can seem to outsiders. Without knowing what to look for, it's easy to miss. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. Monaco's evening teaches you that the most influential people don't chase moments. They allow moments to form around them. And as this quiet authority continues to shape the night, it prepares the stage for the final realization that Monaco isn't just showcasing wealth after dark, it's revealing a parallel world where influence moves softly, but always lands exactly where it intends to. By the time the evening fully settles in Monaco, it becomes clear that this city operates on two different levels at once. There's the Monaco most people see, beautiful streets, glowing harbors, and luxury that feels almost cinematic. And then there's another Monaco, quieter and more precise, unfolding just beneath the surface. In this parallel world, nothing needs to be announced. Movement replaces messaging. Presence replaces explanation. The night doesn't amplify wealth, it organizes it. Supercars come and go without drama. Elegant figures move through spaces that feel calm, controlled, and deliberately paced. Everything appears effortless because effort has already been mastered. What separates this world from the one most visitors experience isn't access, it's awareness. The city doesn't hide its rhythm, it simply doesn't slow down to explain it. Those who belong move in sync with the evening, understanding when to arrive, where to pause, and when to disappear again. The night feels smooth because nothing is out of alignment. This is why Monaco after dark feels so captivating. You're not just watching luxury, you're sensing coordination, a quiet agreement between people, places, and moments. The city feels less like a destination and more like a living system, where influence flows naturally and friction is quietly removed. Women and supercars are part of this environment, not its focus. They don't compete for attention, they complete the scene. Everything fits because everything knows its role. That harmony is what gives Monaco its unmatched evening presence. Not extravagance, but precision. Once you recognize this parallel world, the city never looks the same again. Monaco at night isn't louder, faster, or brighter, It's calmer, sharper, and far more intentional. And that's exactly why those who understand it never feel the need to explain what makes it so powerful. They simply arrive, move through it, and let the city do the rest. As the night settles over Monaco, one thing becomes clear. This city was never meant to be loud. It was designed to be understood. Beauty here doesn't chase attention, and wealth doesn't demand applause. Instead, they move together quietly, shaping an atmosphere where presence matters more than performance. The supercar arrivals, the elegant women, the calm streets, none of it exists to impress strangers. It exists to serve a rhythm that only reveals itself to those who slow down enough to notice. Monaco at night isn't about excess, it's about precision. About knowing when to arrive, how to move, and when to disappear again without leaving a trace. What you've seen isn't just luxury, it's coordination. A system where confidence replaces noise and influence replaces display. This is why Monaco continues to fascinate the world. Not because it shows everything, but because it never does. If this atmosphere spoke to you, if you felt the calm power behind these moments, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Inside the Billionaires. This channel is where we explore the worlds that operate quietly behind wealth, beauty, and influence. And remember, in places like Monaco, the most important stories aren't told out loud. They're lived, noticed briefly, and remembered only by those who truly understand what they're seeing.